So Twilight Zone, episode 3, replay, we meet Nina and her son Dorian. But we see here already that Nina is super independent and very protective of her son. And you get a little dialogue here that basically she doesn't talk to her brother anymore, and the son kind of wants to see him. So Jordan Peele, the narrator, says that this story is about a woman who left behind her past to provide a better future for her son, but today she had no choice but to revisit her history again and again. Now, what I didn't really like even about the narration here was him saying history again and again. What history? She went back 10 minutes the whole episode. Only time she revisits her history is when she goes and sees her estranged brother. But like the two previous episodes, the cinematography here and the setting are really beautiful and well done, but it's trying to mask some pretty bad writing. The writing in this episode was super on the nose and cringy. Perfect example of this is when Dorian says, when using the camcorder, "You ever wonder how not seeing the rest of my family has affected how I grew up as a black man in America?" It's the classic problem of telling and not showing in a story. Now, I did enjoy the first half of this episode. I thought it was effective at the beginning where the racist cop is on loop here with her rewind effect, and every situation he's gonna get them any way he can. And it really put you in their shoes and maybe made people understand more how a police officer can take advantage of people of color, and seeing it also from his perspective and how messed up it is. And that they're constantly in this trap, no matter what they do. Even when she plays nice with the cop, it doesn't work. But the replay on the camcorder effect is pretty lazy to me and not exciting. I mean, how many times have we seen concepts in shows and movies with just, oh, they found a device that's magical and you can rewind and bring back time. I appreciate that this show in the first 3 episodes is strong on message, but the problem here is we're 3 episodes in and there hasn't been a main original concept yet with the technology or the scenario they're in the Twilight Zone. Where back in the day, the Twilight Zone was one of the few things doing this, so every episode stood out in that sense. But now so many shows have done it. There's competition here with Black Mirror especially, which is probably the best at doing it right now. And they have not come up with something that's mind-blowing yet, which is problematic for a show like The Twilight Zone, which can make it very boring and feel like you've seen before. And it's frustrating because I would think something produced by Jordan Peele at this point, especially with The Twilight Zone as a base, there'd be an episode already where I'd be like, did you guys see that? And say it to friends like, oh, that was crazy how this and this did this. Like you do with a Black Mirror episode. It's always something kind of fresh and unique, where this just isn't. And it almost feels dated because they're even using a camcorder. And I get the joke is, yeah, because she's an older woman using it, but still, it's just weird, kind of stupid. And what kind of took me out of this episode was the scene with the Lotto ball. It was very cringeworthy because there's some really cheesy music playing in the background out of nowhere, and they're trying to make this a light moment between the mom and the son, but again, she's really finding out she's predicted these numbers that can win the millions of dollars, and she just shows it to her son to make a deal about him visiting her when he goes away to school. And they like laugh it off and hug, and it's cutesy. But one, I don't buy that. The son would be jumping up and down like, what? We just can win money now if you predict this stuff? And again, in her point, why wouldn't she just go back in time and pick those numbers at the diner and just win $20 million? Who cares about everything else at that point? So that took me out a little bit, believe it or not. I thought that was like just kind of weird to throw in there. And like the last 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone, this also suffered from being too long. You definitely could have trimmed this down a bit, like they did with the comedian episode where there's too many examples of people disappearing. Here, there's too many examples of the rewind effect. We got it at a point. You didn't need to show us 5 times this happening. I did like a nice touch here, though, where the police officer's license plate number was 1015, the same number from the episode prior on the plane. So at first I really did like this scene where the son actually gets shot. Probably the most effective, powerful scene, because it's showing you too when she finally defends herself to this cop and speaks up and isn't hiding who she really is, that can also have terrible consequences. And again, like that no way out thing for them. But then it gets silly because she sees her son is shot with the camera in hand. And in any situation besides this, I get it. She's shocked. She's paralyzed, something tragic has happened in front of her eyes, but she already has the information and has already done it a couple of times and knows if she just hits rewind, it's reset. Why wouldn't she just hit rewind there? I don't care how shocked or traumatic the moment is. It's different when you already have that knowledge in your hand, especially if it's sitting there in your hand and she drops it. And again, like I just said with the prior scene with the Lotto, you lose me when you're making the main character who I'm supposed to root for be an idiot. And that was idiotic to me. And then after this sequence, this is where the episode fell off a giant cliff for me. And for some reason, it became a Lifetime movie. It starts right coming back from the commercial break, and she's envisioning the future with her son having kids, and she's an old lady. And you can see the tone of the episode becomes all bright and happy and sunny. Oh, but then when she's mourning him in the morgue, she remembers the camera and mentions it to the doctor. But, oh, not running to get it, knowing it would save her son's life. Just, yeah, find the camera, let me know. Come on. I'm just not buying that. It really was haunting and effective seeing Dorian on that table dead. Again, showing these haunting images and realities of police brutality and racism. But they forced those moments in by justification of this main character kind of being an idiot. And this whole rewind camera thing is the core concept leading us to all these themes and messages, just not solid and silly. And it really took away from it. And then she opens up to her son about this camcorder rewinding and explaining it all to him. And he lets her know that he pre-programmed in the GPS the route that goes through his uncle's neighborhood. And here comes the Lifetime music. It's even a fall setting now. Seriously, what year is it? When was this made? It felt like I was watching something made in the 90s. And then when you meet her brother finally, it's so on the nose and just screams in your face when he's like, I have a Black Panther comic. And then when you see the interior of his house, right away the first thing you see is Black Lives Matter poster. Like just shoving in your face, hey, he's the opposite of the mom if you didn't notice. And the best part, and the worst writing episode, is when she says, the camera, it's magic. And he just believes her right away. He's literally not shocked or fazed at all. So I guess he's had scenarios where this has happened before. That just did not make sense. I get they were trying to show he was someone who was understanding of someone who is in a crazy situation and accepting, but come on. And then you get where you can see this is all going, where the scene at the college and the cops getting filmed. She stands up for her son finally. There's a really good message here. It's timely, it's a good theme, but if you take the title of Twilight Zone off of it and air this on the Hallmark Channel, I am sure the audience there would have loved this. And that's a problem. That's not what this target demographic is for. And it feels like at the end, they just tried to get back to Twilight Zone vibe real quick by having the twist where in the future, the son is, again, approached by a cop as we hear sirens in the background and driving home this theme of it being kind of a life sentence where you can't escape this profiling and racism that's just in humans, and it's like a trap that's never ending. But look, I was someone who's in the minority and supported the first two episodes of Twilight Zone. I thought they were very good. But this one was bad. It just was not good television. Like I said, very cheesy, felt out of character. And for these type of shows, the concept, the main core of what is the twist in this episode, what's the technology, what's the Twilight Zone situation, that concept always drives these type of shows home and is the most important. And having just rewinding a short period of time on a camcorder was just not interesting. Been done 100 times and it felt dated. At least in the first two episodes, things were updated to podcasts and AirPods. So this episode for me was just bad, and I'm giving it a 4.8. Again, I appreciate the themes and messages, but the ship that was steering those messages to you was pretty bad. The next episode, though, looks really good. It's the one I've been waiting for with Steven Yeun. I hope it improves. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment and try to respond as many as I can. Please subscribe so you don't miss one of my reviews of the Twilight Zone. I also do Game of Thrones and Killing Eve at the moment, so you don't want to miss any of those. And please follow me at SteveVarley1 on Twitter and Instagram, where you can see bonus reviews I do of movies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.